What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for yet another Tottenham update. Premier League football is back this weekend. The last few games of the international break are going to happen over the next couple of days. We got John back in the studio. Another no-show from Sim. What's going on?
How are you, Sim? You on the lem tips? Filling in.
Yeah, filling in. We've got quite a bit to get through today. Let's start off with a report from the Financial Times, and they're saying Premier League football clubs are set for a huge payday with CBS, ESPN and NBC fighting it out to secure the league's TV rights for $2 billion in the USA. A bit of a bidding war going on between those three companies for the Premier League rights, which, you know, much to Daniel Levy's delight.
He'll love that, won't he?
And you know, with the report that came out last week with FFP saying that Spurs have the majority of the funds, 400 million we can spend if we really wanted to without being in trouble with financial fair play. How much of this money do you think will go down to that?
Yeah, I know, but it just really goes to show that he hasn't spent much, doesn't it? When you're like, we're top of the table, aren't we?
It's the only thing we could be top of the table for.
Exactly. And do you think he's actually going to pull one out and actually, loosen the purse strings finally, or not?
I mean, I would like to say yes, but I said yes when Jose came, but the pandemic hit then. Look, again, I'm not going to say it. Like, I don't think Conte comes here without these kind of assurances, but, you know, we've been stung like that before.
This is his time. This is his time.
This is the time. But let's move on. Let's talk a report from Ali Gold saying this season Tanguy Ndombele is considered by the sports science staff to be in his best physical condition since joining the club. That's music to all our ears, isn't it? And if Conte can get a tune out of him, what a player we have in our hands. Yeah,
I mean, definitely. I mean, I would say, though, he looked a little bit more athletic last year. Do you not think?
I mean, yes, seeing as the times on the pitch, but maybe they're talking about, you know, in the last couple of weeks where we haven't seen him that much. Yeah. And obviously Conte has come to the club. He's thrown out the ketchup, thrown out the mayonnaise.
Huge change.
And apparently in these 2 weeks of the international break, he's basically used it as a pre-season, mainly fitness work and conditioning work and stuff like that. And with the players that have gone out on international break, he's given them all fitness homework to do.
Has he?
There, yeah.
That's good to hear, though, isn't it? Yeah. I feel excited by this, actually. You know, I feel in safe hands with him. I hope that's not just in terms of fitness and stuff on the training pitch. I hope that actually translates to the to the games, because I thought last year his aggression off the ball was actually really, really good. His desire was there, I thought. And so far this season, it's been a little bit hit and miss, I think, with his desire, his work rate, I think.
Yeah, but there was a time, like even when he was playing his best football last year in Ndombele, we were still so easy to slice through the midfield. Him and Højbjerg, as much as they played really well, we always needed an extra man in there or some more protection in there, and maybe Ollie Skip can do that for us.
Did you think that?
I felt like our midfield was always so easily bypassed last season.
Potentially, I thought there was a string of games where Ndombele was probably the best player.
It's only a string of games, though, isn't it? It's not like a prolonged season.
No, exactly. Time. Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit, hot and cold, isn't it? With Ndombele, that's the problem. If he can actually get more consistency in his game, I think it's going to be a real serious player for us. And if Conte can be the one to do it, then brilliant.
Well, Ndombele is going to be turning into Slim Ndombele, so looking forward to that. But let's move on and let's talk about Dusan Vlahovic. There's been reports from a few different publications, so let me get through them. First one is from Sport Media Set in Italy, and they're saying Antonio Conte wants to sign Dusan Vlahovic in January. Tottenham are in pole position to sign the striker and are ready to offer a large amount. So there you go. There's the FFP coming into play. Corriere dello Sport saying Tottenham are favourites to sign Dusan Vlahovic. But then Damasio pushed back on all of that this morning, saying Fiorentina's suspicion is that Dusan Vlahovic already has an agreement with a team or a strong preference anyway. And they say Tottenham Hotspur could try give him to Conte, but more likely in June rather than January.
Really?
And we've also got some comments here from Milenkovic Savic, who obviously plays in Lazio in the same league as him and for the same nation as him as well. And the comments on him are good. He's not good. He's outstanding. I'm quite certain the stats would back that up. Considering his age, I like how he wants to prove himself. So I think he's bound to become one of the greats.
Wow, okay.
So do you have any opinions on Dusan Vlahovic, and would you like to see him come into Spurs?
Definitely. I mean, I'm just looking here. I mean, the other teams that are involved in the bidding wars, Arsenal and Man City. So where do you think we would fit amongst those teams in terms of the appeal?
Above Arsenal, below Man City. pretty simple, I think.
Yeah, but do you think there's actually an option where he'd prefer to come to us than City, let's say? Or not? Could you actually envisage that? Because, obviously you've got Harry Kane.
I think if you go to City, it's just ready-made for a striker to walk in there and go straight into the first team, isn't it? If he comes to Spurs, then he's got to be battling out with Harry Kane. That's the thing. And we've seen over the past how strikers have turned us down because of Harry Kane and, the Don Corleone effect.
Yeah, exactly. And I just don't see why you can't have 2 top strikers at the club. I mean, because he always used to get injured like for 2 months every season because he was like going full pelt on his own. You can lighten the load a little bit. And if you bring in a striker who's knocking in like hat-tricks, then it creates serious, genuine competition then.
Yeah.
And then, potentially Harry Kane has got to like work harder. And then, and also he's never really had a strike partner, apart from last year with Sonny. He's more of an inside forward, isn't he? He's never really had an actual strike partner, has he? I mean, I think he played once with Llorente against Real Madrid. That was it. So
the thing is, the way Conte wants to play, we've seen him in the past. Last year with Inter Milan, he played with 2 strikers up front, Lautaro Martinez and Lukaku, you know what I mean? And I think he does want to go to that.
So I don't see why we can't go down that path. And I think that would be good for Harry Kane and for, anyone coming in. So...
Well, let's hope we can get this one over the line because he is a special player, Dusan Vlahovic. He really is. I've been watching clips of him, a lot of clips from this season. And he is strong, he's tall, he's quick.
And young, 21, isn't he?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And bloody hell, his finishing is something to be desired for. Like, really, really good player. I mean, I can't really see anything bad about him. I mean, he ticks every single box.
Good.
So. But I guess
Vincent, I'm just thinking about the songs.
Vincent Janssen ticked every box.
Well, I know that he did as well, didn't he? Oh, don't.
All right, let's move on. And Soldado did, by the way.
Yeah, he did.
Soldado, before he came to us, he was.
I love Soldado.
Apart from Ronaldo and Messi, he was the top goal scorer over like 5 years, wasn't he, in La Liga? So.
What's he doing now, by the way? Do we know?
Plays for Granada, I think he does.
And has he picked it up again?
Not really. I mean, he's old now. He's old now.
He's gone.
Yeah. I mean, he never found those heights that he did before he was at Spurs ever again.
We corrupt their careers, don't we, when they come to us? Yeah.
Sammy Mockbell is saying that Harry Kane has pleaded with Gareth Southgate to start on Monday in San Marino as the England captain hunts down Wayne Rooney's all-time goal-scoring record. We'll get into the nitty-gritty of that in a minute once we get into the international roundup. But the last update we've got is from the South Korean camp, and last week, I don't know if you heard, but Son picked up an injury on international break. But those fears have been eased now as after HeungMin Son's ankle knock, he is now training normally outside with the South Korean team as they prepare to face Iran tomorrow. So he does seem to be fine, Sonny. So happy days.
Great. Good.
But let's get into this international roundup. Let's start off with England against Albania. Finished 5-0 to England. Harry Kane grabbing himself a hat-trick and an assist.
The perfect hat-trick.
The perfect hat-trick, exactly. And now he is 9 goals behind Wayne Rooney, equal Jimmy Greaves' record, 4 behind Gary Lineker and 5 behind Bobby Charlton as well. Is this guy going to be the greatest England striker of all time?
Numbers wise, he probably will beat it now. Yeah, I didn't think he would at one point, but I think
we had a big debate about it. I think about a year ago, maybe even a longer year ago. Me and Simeon kind of teamed up on you saying he will break it.
But we also talked about the Premier League. I don't think he's going to beat Shearer's record in the league, but it looks like he is going to beat the England record now. I thought though that see, the difference is, and the reason is, if you go back into like the mid-90s, you had a lot more competition for the striking positions. You had Shearer, Sheringham, Ferdinand, you had Fowler, you even had Ian Wright. You even had like players like Sutton, who are knocking 20, 25 goals a season. Not every season, but, in the peak season. So you had a lot of strikers to choose from then. Now you don't really have that kind of star quality across the board of all the strikers. So he's kind of... he's kind of out on his own.
Harry Kane
I know. I'm just saying.
He is.
But I think in generations gone by, if you had a striker that had only knocked in 1 goal for the mid-November, he wouldn't even get in the squad.
What, even if he was captain?
Well, that's the problem, isn't it? Because he's captain, he gets a green pass, doesn't he? He gets a green card. Yeah. But I think in generations gone by, they would do it on performance, and he wouldn't even be in the starting 11. So he's kind of got that to his advantage. I'm not going to take anything away from him. He's a goal machine, and numbers-wise, he's incredible. But I don't think he's going to be like the greatest England striker of all time.
Can you not say similar things about like other England captains? David Beckham, for instance, when he was going for a rough patch.
He should have been dropped, actually.
When he was going for a rough patch, he was always picked.
Golden balls.
Yeah, and I think it happens time and time again, especially when you're the captain. And when you're a captain of England, right, you've demanded the respect of all the players, you've demanded the respect of the manager, And with someone like Harry Kane, who's pulled out the numbers that he has over the last 8 years for Tottenham Hotspur, the numbers that he has for England, the goals he scored in international tournaments, competitive games as well, it would be very harsh to drop him from the team because of a poor start to the season.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you do have to judge it on form as well, you know? Like
it does come, yeah, of course.
We were talking about dropping him out of the Spurs team, for instance.
Yeah.
So this is like the national team should even be even more competitive, right? So I don't see why he can't come out of the team if he's not performing. But I guess it's Harry Kane, and also he, even when the form's not there, he can still get the goals. That's the thing. Even on his sort of B game, C game, he can still get the goals, and we've seen that even in the Euros. I didn't think he had a good Euros, but he still got 4 goals, didn't he?
I think he had a poor group stages, but I think after that he came alive, and I thought he played really well after that.
Right. So yeah, I mean that's Harry Kane, isn't it? But how many goals? Nine to go before.
Yeah, 9 to go. He's on 44 now, equal with Jimmy Greaves. It's nuts. Equal with Jimmy Greaves, and only 4 behind Gary Lineker, 5 behind Bobby Charlton, 9 behind Wayne Rooney. So he's gonna do it. He's playing his way into being a legend of the game. If you're going to be England's top goal scorer of all time, is that not legendary status?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
And with the goals he scored, like you said, the perfect hat-trick, that last goal, that scissor kick.
That's the first time I've ever seen him do a bicycle kick.
The Conte effect, people. The Conte effect.
Have you ever seen him be that acrobatic? I've never seen that.
No, never.
I can't think of any goal like that. Yeah,
I
didn't think he had that in his locker.
Yeah. I mean, the one that comes closest to it is when that he was falling over against Leicester.
Leicester, yeah, he slips over. Yeah, no, but it's not the same though, is it?
No, I know, but that's the closest one. Probably.
It was actually quite surprising to see that. I was quite happy to see that. Yeah, that's good. I hope he just hasn't found his level with Albania.
Oh, come on. I love it. Yeah. When it's Harry Kane who's like, oh, he's found his level. But when Cristiano Ronaldo is scoring 3 goals against Lithuania and 4 goals against these teams, everyone's like, oh, he's the GOAT.
Yeah, I know. I just hope he actually does it in the Premier League now, Yeah. Can he actually start breaking the seal?
But, apart from that, I know I didn't watch the game live, but I saw the highlights. Apart from the goals and his assist, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
He looked really sharp. He was holding up the ball really well. And he just looked like a different man, really.
Well, why can't he do it for us then?
He will do it for us now, trust me. He'll do it. Harry Kane is back, people. Let's move on. Uruguay against Argentina. Finished 1-0 to Argentina out in Uruguay. Romero playing 90 minutes with an incredibly dominant display. And Lo Celso playing 76 minutes. And he came on for one of his smaller compatriots, Lionel Messi. Came on for the last 15 minutes for Lo Celso. Lo Celso coming off for Messi. What's going on there?
Why is he plays great for Argentina, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
I get the feeling with Lo Celso that I don't want to say this, but it's kind of almost feel like he's in the wrong league with us,
I think so.
Yeah,
But he showed he can do it in the league when he first joined us.
No, I know, but it just doesn't seem to be working out for him, does it? But whenever he plays an international duty, he seems to absolutely rip it up.
Yeah.
So what's up? Like, what is it? What he can't do it? For in the domestic.
I think he'll be a big player for Conte. I really do. I think he's got bags of talent.
Yeah.
I think he is suited for the Premier League. I think he's got.
Do you think he's suited to the Premier League?
Because I think that, as much as his physical build isn't the biggest, I still think he's got a lot of bite to him. I think he
just
can
gets injured too much.
Put himself about. Yeah. Well, he hasn't really been injured this season, has he? So
but he gets like these little stop starts, like little kind of cameos all the time. Comes in, then he's out the team, then he's sort of fringe player, substitute, comes in for 20 minutes, then then gets another injury, and then it's just like he never gets a proper run in the side, does he? You don't never really feel as though he's earned that place.
But I do think once Conte gets to grips with his squad and he puts down his marker, and maybe we move to that 2 up top system and 5 in midfield, I do think we can do a midfield of maybe Skippy doing the anchor role and Lo Celso and Ndombele in the same team.
That's what we've wanted to see for a long time,
isn't it? Yeah. All right. Yeah. What's the next one? Montenegro drew 2-2 with Netherlands, coming down from 2-0 behind. Montenegro did. Bergwijn coming on for the second half, and that was the bad part of the game, unfortunately, where they did concede 2 goals. Wales beating Belarus 5-1 with. They played a back 4 with Davis and Roden.
Davies scored, didn't he?
Davis scored, yeah. His first goal for Wales. And I think it's 62 caps or something like that. But they played Davis and Roden in a back 4, in the 2 central defensive, in the 2 central roles. And apparently both of them were very, very dominant. Joe Roden made more interceptions and clearances than anyone. And he also won 100% of his duels as well. So Would you like to see Rodon play more for Spurs?
Yeah, I think
like in a starting role. Where would you play him? Like in the left side of a back three?
I think I want to see Romero in the centre, and then things I just don't get it with Rodon. I mean, he comes in, he seems to play all right, and then he just gets frozen out, doesn't he?
With every manager.
Yeah, but I think I would slightly prefer him by the end of the season. I want to see him ahead of Dyer.
I'd like to see that as well. I mean, I don't think Dyer's a bad defender, right?
Yeah.
I think Dyer's actually a good defender, but it's his concentration and his lapses of concentrations and clumsiness that lets him down. And like you say, consistently, you can't coach that out of a player.
No, he's not cerebral enough. He's just too clumsy. That's just something.
You can coach it out of a player, but I don't think you can coach it out of him. Because we've seen it for too long.
Yeah, exactly.
We've seen it for too long. But Joe Rodon...
he's still raw, isn't he?
He's
still
raw. But, he's the same age as Davinson Sanchez, and I think he should be given equal opportunities.
I mean, what is it that he's done horrendously wrong so far?
Nothing.
I can't think of anything he's done really wrong. But then he seems to be getting like the short stick all the time.
Yeah. Look, we'll have to see how that one plays out.
Hopefully he's in by the end of the season.
Yeah, let's hope so. France beating Kazakhstan 8-0 with Hugo Lloris with a stunning clean sheet against Kazakhstan. He played 90 minutes. Belgium beat Estonia 3-1 with Maxim Pastotsi playing 90 minutes, and that must have been a big learning curve for him playing away at Belgium. Maxim Pastotsi.
Why? Because the competition.
Well, first of all, he's like an 18, 19-year-old kid, and he played centre-back against Belgium.
One of the best teams in the world.
Yeah. So that must have been a big learning curve for him. And he's playing for the Tottenham under-23s, you know what I mean? And suddenly he's playing against Belgium.
Bit of a leap,
yeah. Luxembourg lost 3-0 to Ireland. Doherty coming off on the 90th minute for Troy Parrott. And apparently Doherty now 2 games. One against Portugal, one against Luxembourg. First game he pockets Cristiano Ronaldo, and second game he has a dominant display.
If you say the Conte effects of him,
he has a dominant display on the right-hand side against Luxembourg.
Oh, you're getting giddy, Ben. You're getting giddy.
Is it the Conte effect? I'm joking. Senegal beating Congo 2-0. Papa Sarr coming on for the last 13 minutes. And then tonight, you've got Scotland against Denmark with Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, and England against San Marino tonight, where Harry Kane has pleaded with Gareth Southgate to play in that game.
Because he could get an absolute shed load.
Can he break the record tonight? 9 goals.
He could easily get another hat-trick today, couldn't he, against San Marino, the whipping boys.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right, so that is the Tottenham update. Let me know in the comment section below if you have any thoughts regarding any of the stories we've brought to you today. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.